All right, it is 6 o'clock. People can find their seats. I'm going to go ahead and call the Tazewell County Board meeting to order. John, if you could call the roll, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Altpeter?
Here.
Atkins?
Here.
Connick?
Here.
Crawford?
Here.
Darcy?
Here.
Goddard?
Here.
Graff?
Here.
Paul?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
Howder? Hubby?
Here.
Emmett?
Here.
Josting?
Here.
Longfellow?
Here.
Mennel?
Here.
Correa?
Here.
Rich Stimson?
Here.
Roberts?
Here.
Scortino?
Here.
Sin?
Here.
Chairman Zimmerman?
Here.
Member Howder?
Here.
You have a quorum.
We have a quorum. We'll do business if we could rise for the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, what privilege it is to live in a free country where we can gather together, debate these issues in a manner that honors you, and then arrive at a consensus. And even when we don't agree with the decision, we can come away civilly and still be friends. Thank you for this board that you've given this county. I know that they take their job seriously, and thank you for that. Thank you for our citizens. Thank you for our employees. We especially want to lift up Gary Twist tonight as he moves on to another season of life. We wish him well. He's just a godly man with so much character, and I know that wherever he goes, he'll be successful at it, and want to honor you. We lift up Member Josting tonight as he's grieving the loss of his mother. We know that you're the great comforter, and I pray that you that he can feel your presence. Thank you for these issues that we are going to debate tonight. Thank you for those who protect us, for our local police and fire, and for those in the armed forces. I thank you that they're willing to make those sacrifices on behalf of us. We know that you're a great God and you're sovereign, and we pray all these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. On the Gary Twist front, Gary, if you could come up, and Mike. Gary is no longer our employee as of 4:30 today, so he's just somebody off the street here. So, I know you probably heard me say this before. There's Tim Tebow quote that says, "My team makes me look better than we are." And Gary is one of these guys that makes Tazewell County look so good, and you honor us all. Not many of you were on the board 14 years ago, but if you remember or read the papers, you know that we were in a chronic mess. Our tax bills were late year in and year out. We can handle that, but school districts rely on 70% of their money from the property taxes, and when they're late, they have to take out loans, and it is just a disaster. We brought Gary in from Champaign County, and he's just, I can't say enough good words. His humility, his smile, his kindness. He's helped me out so much over the years. When you're looking for board review members, you don't go to the phone book and find those people. Gary makes sure that he offers the test so that we have a qualified list. And so after 14 years, he and his wife are going to move on to their next season of life. He has a grandchild now, and you will be missed, Gary. And I just can't say enough. I know Mike has a plaque here that he'd like to read.
Tazewell County recognizes and congratulates Gary Twist for his dedicated and committed service to the citizens of Tazewell County. Gary served as the Tazewell County Supervisor of Assessment from January 08 through June 21. The Tazewell County Board extends to Gary its deepest appreciation and gratitude for his service to Tazewell County residents and taxpayers and offers his best wishes for health and happiness.
I've never served a better group of people than the citizens of Tazewell County. I've never worked with the county board that I've enjoyed or that's been more professional. Some of you I'm just meeting for the first time tonight. Over these years, it's the greatest county board that I've worked with, and you've empowered me and helped me to do my job. Thank you. It's been my honor. Thank you.
It has been an honor. And when I shook his hand, Greg, he's been dressing turkeys. Gary, wish you well. Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Best wishes, Gary. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
All right, I didn't receive any communications from anyone outside the county. Is there any communications from elected or appointed county officials? Mike?
Yes. I received calls from 2 different firms and some information from the 3rd firm. And they were concerned and wanted me to pass this to the county board. It's about fee increases in the recorder of deeds office. First comment was they were outraged about the increase. And their services to meet the new cost will have to be reduced. They won't be able to provide what services they have now. So the charges today, this is the last day, $125 a month for unlimited time and users, with 25 cents a copy if it's copied in the recorder's office. The new system, this is information from them. Nothing I'm giving you is from me. The new system is $400 a month. Unlimited time, this is the highest service you can get. Unlimited time, 1 user only. When a user's on it, another one comes on, the one on gets bumped. 25 cents per copy in recorder's office, if you make the copy in the recorder's office. 25 cents a copy if you make it in your own house. Your own printer, your own ink, your own paper. So the first business said it's an increase of $38,100 per year for this new system. The second one said it was $41,700 increased cost per year. They don't know how they're going to do it, but something, they'll have to do something. The next thing they brought up, there's a 9-day gap in information. I think today's the last day. The new system goes in tomorrow, and it starts accumulating tomorrow's information and goes on. It hasn't got the past information. So 9 days later, you'll have the information from the past. They're worried about that. They're thinking one way to avoid some of the costs is go into the recorder's office and make the copies there and get the information. It'd be quicker than waiting to get on their computer. But they're concerned about the 50% reduction in the workstations. 2 of the 4 computers were eliminated. They were told that the money goes to the county. They think a slush fund is being built. They're afraid to oppose these because they're afraid of retribution. The increase, they're saying what increase they incur will be passed on to the customer/taxpayer. And then there's a press release that was issued that states the upgraded software will be made available at no cost to the taxpayers of Tazewell County thanks to the restructuring of our recorder of deeds fee fund and county clerk automation fee fund. So that information I passed on as a request from these two companies. In the same press release, it states there is a $160,000 savings since the election, and that savings it was just worked out because there's a reduction in cost of the elections this year over last year, and that's where the $160,000 comes. That's it. That's all I have.
Right? Brandon?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Well, these are alarming concerns. You know, I think about the firms that use the Recorder of Deeds office, and this is a concern. This affects development, especially economic development. With that in mind, I have some questions. And Mr. Vice Chairman, would you mind furnishing the names of these firms?
You know what, this is actually just public comment. I can't allow debate in this.
I understand.
So if you want to talk to Mike individually on that, that would be great.
Okay, I will do that.
That's the public comment period, so. Thanks, Mr. Hubby. Any other public comment? Okay.
The rates that have been brought up aren't fees. They are the premium package for the title companies, for the attorneys, so that they don't have to come to the office. More information will be available on the website than previously. Our previous provider, while we worked with them and we were happy to work with them for as long as we did, all of the firms wanted us to move to a different vendor because of some issues, including they paid the previous rate for an entire month and then wasn't able to get service because of our other providers' services being hacked. The new fees are higher than what the old ones were, but they're going to be getting more services and more access to information without having to come into the Recorder of Deeds office, which is what many of them have said that they've wanted. Also, the rate that's being charged wasn't determined by us, it was by the vendor, and it's the same vendor that is servicing Fulton, Woodford, Tazewell. I don't think McLean's got it, but they've got 68 counties in the state of Illinois. So this is the fee that's being charged at 68 counties throughout the state of Illinois for this wonderful new provider we're getting. The savings that was mentioned is what's being saved for the taxpayers of Tazewell County, because with the restructuring of this contract with them and the restructuring of our fee fund, the taxpayers of Tazewell County aren't paying for basic services, not this elite package, but for basic services through the Recorder of Deeds office. That's all being paid for with the new agreement, and we restructured the contract with them in a way that reduced the cost and saved money. So those are some of the answers to some of the questions, but I'd be happy, anybody who has any further questions, I know Member Crail was able to attend the training session that we offered for them, but I'd be happy to give answers and work with you and show you what's taking place. Additionally, you could always contact Dan or our lead clerk in the Recorder of Deeds office, Lisa Dunnigan. We'd be happy to show you the wonderful things that are taking place down there. But we are going to be in an elite camp here real soon in the Recorder of Deeds office within the state, and I'm very proud of the activities that are taking place.
All right, any other comments or questions? Okay, moving on. Can I get a motion to approve the May 26th meeting minutes? Motion by Conant, second by Darcy. Any changes, deletions, corrections? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, we do have 3 in-place meetings. The first one is an in-place property. Chairman Longfellow.
Thank you, Chairman. We have an in-place property on this June 30th. Sue, can you call the roll, please?
Chairman Longfellow.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Rapp.
Here.
Powder.
Here.
Emmett.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Rich Stimson. Here. Shortino.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Letter A is motion to approve going out for bids. Jostein. Graff. This is a motion to go out for bids for the McKenzie Building windows. This is from a project that we had slated before COVID from a year and a half ago.
We didn't want to wait for our next meeting to get this approved to go out for bids. Basically, we're starting over the bid process, it looks like, for this project. Any questions?
Yes. I'm not going to challenge or anything. I think both places need it, but is this more important than the windows at the courthouse? We've had problems with those also.
I'll let Mike talk about that.
I think either one could go either way. But the windows at the McKinsey building, especially on the north end of that building, are the original windows. They leak, they are cracked, they don't function, they're in real bad shape. And if I had to compare it to, though the courthouse is in need of replacement, I think the McKinsey building is at probably at a worse state. So that's my opinion.
Any other discussion, questions? Opposed to approve, say aye. Aye. Against? That's approved. Letter B is another motion to approve going out for bids for fan coils. Motion by Emmett, second. Ghosting. This is a project, I think that's an old project to help out the McKinsey building and the courthouse as far as air conditioning and heating. Any discussion? Mike, you want to add anything to that?
This actually went out for bid. We got bids last year on this thing, prior to COVID, just as COVID hit. The bids come back, we only had 3 bidders on the thing. We hope that we could utilize those bids, but because of the cost of labor and materials right now, it's absolutely higher price. I was hoping we could, I don't want to say circumvent and just push this project through, but I consulted with my colleague, and the best option is to put it back out for bid. So that's what we're doing. We're just taking the same packet we already had and putting it back out. I plan on contacting at least the 3 that did this and let them know that it's going back out. But I also contacted the lowest bidder and was already advised that the price was going to go up. So at that point, we need to put it back out. So, but it should be a quick process, and that's my goal is to get this going through.
Any other discussion? Mr. Crawford would like to make a comment.
It's not on this motion. Go ahead on this one.
Okay, so we'll take a vote on that motion then. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My comment is
Russ,
simply,
can you use your mic, please?
oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I forget sometimes. I had the opportunity to walk to the McKinsey building today for Gary Twist's event, and I went by the courthouse, and this is for Greg and for Mike and for everybody involved on the committee and all the workers. I have never seen such beautiful flowers in the vases there by the entrance to the courthouse as I did today. They're just stunning and gorgeous, and I'm not used to seeing that kind of beauty on the Tazewell County Courthouse. So, Mike, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Ackerman, you had some comments about your grant.
Yeah, I just wanted the board members to know, we received, we had a last chance opportunity to apply for a federal American with Disabilities Act grant called the Polling Place Accessibility Grant. Sorry about that. It was a federal grant totaling $1 million that had to be distributed throughout the state. Every county was to get a portion of it. I'm pleased to announce that Tazewell County, well, first off, I immediately approached Mike Shoney and approached Josie with the city of Pekin and asked what can we do with the McKinsey building. We had 4 projects total that we put out for bid, and because of the hard work of getting the quotes prepared by Mike Shoney and by Josie with the city of Pekin, 2 of the 4 grants we received, totaling $91,000. The largest one will involve removal of the roadway, part of the roadway, the sidewalks in front of the McKinsey building, and replacing them with handicap accessible ones, including a landing that will be drive-up landing that will be installed into the front of the McKinsey building, so that vehicles with handicapped individuals aren't getting out right onto the roadway, which is dangerous. The second grant was for the back door of the McKinsey building. Our handicap parking spot is in the back of the building. but the door is not handicap accessible, so people were having to walk all the way around the building. So this will involve the removal of the back door and replacement with a handicap accessible door. Again, both of those will be completed here within the next year as part of that grant for $91,250.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ackerman. With both those motions being approved, we're in recess. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. We have an in-place executive committee meeting. Sue, if you could call the roll, please.
Chairman Zimmerman.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Atkins.
Here.
Sonnet. Here. Darcy. Here. Graff.
Here.
Dimick.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Longfellow.
Here.
Mennel.
Here.
Trail. Here. Sin.
Here.
We pass the quorum.
All right, these are the grants that just came out of the public hearing this evening, and I'm just going to take them all together unless somebody wants to vote individually on them. Can I get a motion for A through G? Motion by Trail, second by Connett. Any questions? I think this is the fourth time we've done this, so all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are in recess from executive. And we do have an in-place risk management meeting also. Sue, if you could call the roll, please.
Chairman Zimmerman.
Here.
Harris.
Here.
Atkins.
Here.
Sonnet. Here. Darcy. Here. Graff.
Here.
Dimick.
Here.
Josie.
Here.
Longfellow.
Here.
Mennel.
Here.
Trail. Sin. Auditor Grimm. State's Attorney Rep. Treasurer Burris. You have a quorum.
All right, under new business, I need a motion to recommend workman's compensation settlement. Motion by Darcy, second by Atkins. If you have specific questions, please pull one of us aside and we can give you the details. Other than that, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? While we're still in risk management, I know many of you read the email that came from Wendy a week and a half ago. We won that federal lawsuit that went on for 6.5, 7 years, and it cost $600,000 to defend that, but the jury was out for 2 hours. So I think that shows what a weak case it was, and it's unfortunate that you have to spend those kind of resources to make a point sometimes. So with that, we are in recess from in-place risk management. That brings us down to the consent agenda, and item 6 and item 12 through 18 will automatically be pulled. Anything else? Yeah.
2.
Item 2. Maybe? 6? 7, okay. So I have 2, 6, 7, and then 12 through 18. Anything else? A motion by Crawford for the remainder, second by Graff. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Back to item 2. Can I get a motion to get that on the floor? Motion by Rich Simpson, motion second by Hubby. Mike, you pulled this?
Yes, I did. I pulled it and tried to vote against it in finance, and I want to vote against it tonight. My opinion is that the funds are available and will be available. I'd like to wait till the end of the year and see if there's anything there to pay it, and then if not, we can reconsider. And the reasons are, of all the press releases that indicate cost savings and grants received and fee funds used to support multiple accounts, and with the new increase in fee funds from the recorder deeds increases, I believe the money will be there. I know this might initiate, wait till the end of the year, it might initiate an action to spend all the money so that we could fund it, but that action could initiate another action where the board could review the expenditures and make budget adjustments. So I'm going to oppose this.
Brandon?
I agree completely with Vice Chairman Harris. You know, Mr. Ackerman, there are a lot of press releases out of your office that are savings, savings, savings. Quite frankly, I feel like I'm getting advertisements for Target or Walmart with all the savings that we're talking about. And a request like this really creates the question of what's happening. Now, emergencies happen, life happens, but we're at a point where we need to start rethinking some strategies, particularly when it comes to our finances. So I agree with Vice Chairman Harris here that I can't support this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other? Nick?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I certainly don't have a problem holding this until the end of the year, but I think in all fairness to Mr. Ackerman, we cut his budget last year knowing that he would be short on election judge pay. We also had an election that we weren't planning on having in Washington Township. So there are a couple things that this board did knowing that we would short Mr. Ackerman's budget. These funds have been paid. We're not going to go back and take money away from election judges that have already worked. So we knew this was going to happen. This is the way we have normally handled these things. If there wants to be a change in policy, and I'm not saying we should or should not, but this has been our policy up to this point. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Russ?
I was going to make some comments, but Finance Chairman Graff just said exactly what I was going to say, so I support what Nick said. Thanks.
All right, any other comments or questions? Carol?
Would it be a problem if we looked like Mr. Harris recommended that we wait until the end of the year and look at it then and we can adjust it then if need be? But does it create a problem if we do that?
So I'm going to let the accountant speak to that. I think generally that's how budgeting is done, but that's not how we've done it here in the county in the past, so.
Typically, so in Tazewell County, we always transfer. So if there is, if you've gone over, either you need to go into your accounts and you need to transfer money to them, or you need to ask for like contingency funds, which is what I believe this request is. That's what our policy is, and I think that's what Nick is saying. Like that is what we've always done and what we've always required of all of our department heads. So, I mean, did that help answer?
All right, Mindy?
Okay, I'm not an expert on this, but my understanding is that the Washington election, which I think is what caused is the election that was unplanned. My understanding is that that election has always, the primary has always happened. So it's not like, perhaps it should have been foreseeable and budgeted for that purpose, because it's not like we don't know if it's going to happen. If it's something that traditionally happens, then shouldn't we know that that's going to happen and budget for it? That's my thought.
Nick?
We cut his budget. He budgeted for it and we cut it.
Okay, any other comments or questions from board members?
Just one.
Monica?
Go ahead, Ross, if you don't mind, Chairman.
I'm good either way. So
Go ahead.
Your call. I only want to respond to the history item that Wendy referred to, because unfortunately I'm so old. I was on the county board in 1979. 1979 was the last year where we actually did it the old way. And when I became the auditor in 1980, we changed it and we did it where we follow proper governmental auditing, accounting, and financial reporting standards. But what we used to do is when somebody ran out of money, we just let them keep spending in the red and build that up. And then in one motion at the end of the year, right before final budget, we'd pass resolutions pulling all that money for all the departments out of the contingency line and making them good. And it's a terrible, terrible way to budget, because you really don't have any idea what you really spent when you're creating a new budget. I mean, I would argue that if you're going to do that, why even have a budget? because it defeats the entire purpose. So it's real important to not, I don't want to use the word politicize, but to try to inject our personal issue orientation into what is traditionally a financial transaction. I mean, if you don't like something that the recorder or the county clerk's doing, there's other ways to address it rather than through the transfer process. Thank you.
Monica and then Brandon.
Chairman, I sit through quite a few board meetings for these budget meetings and that. We have discussed this at great length as to budgeting these line items. And I understand, Nick, what you say, that we cut some of those line items in the recorder's office and the clerk's office. But when we were discussing this and these contingencies, and in the same vein as Russ was talking about, when you hit those contingencies, you don't know. That's why you want to keep real close tabs of these contingency items going out, because if they say this line item was, you spend this amount in this line item, but yet you're still hitting those contingencies, you're pulling it back into that and you're throwing your whole budget out of whack. So that's nothing political, it's just things that we've brought up and we spoke about at great lengths at several of our budget meetings these past few years. So we could keep more of a defined tune to what this budget line item was paying out and what it was spending. That's all my comment. Thank you.
Brandon?
I agree with Member Khan. I really appreciate what you just said. Contingencies happen. And I really will have to say that every comment I heard in this debate session had a lot of merit. You know, I really agree with Vice Chairman Harris, but also I agree with Finance Chair Graff. We did cut his budget. And looking back, that probably was not a good idea. What I'm about to say is going to be offensive to some people, but I came here to make policy, not to make friends. There are vendettas in county government, especially in Tazewell County, and maybe it's time to put these vendettas to bed when we set budgets. Frankly, I'm still going to vote in opposition to this. I do have a problem with this simply because, again, I feel like more foresight could have been had. But at the same time, I think this is an honest to goodness teaching moment to some people in this room. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
So, right, 1, 2, 3. These are the no's. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Who are the no's?
Brandon, Mindy,
Darcy.
Harris, Joesting, Prayo, Connie. So the motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, you might confirm that Member Powder has voted.
Bill, did you vote yes or no on that? Sometimes it comes in a little delayed.
Yeah, I know it's delayed, I'm sorry. I voted in the affirmative, yes.
Okay, thank you, Bill. All right, motion passes. On to item 6. This just came out of committee. Can I get a motion? Get this on the floor. Motion by Meadow, second by Atkins. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Bill. Item 7. Can I get a motion to get this on the floor? Motion by Darcy, second by Atkins. Mindy will be missed. Tony will be missed. Excuse me. There we go.
Okay, just obviously do see what she did. Anyways, just making a comment about Tony, how she will be greatly missed, and I had the pleasure of joining the board with her at the exact same day, and then had the pleasure of Mike Harris dragging us around to every department in the county and meeting all kinds of people, and she really brought to serious subjects some good levity, and but took it seriously, and She loved what she did. She really loved being on the board, and she really enjoyed everybody that she got to meet and work with. And I think she'll just be missed, and I'd like to vote no, but I'm excited for her because she's doing what she wanted to do. So good for her.
She's important, Mike.
I got a text telling me to vote no.
From Mindy or Tony? Okay, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed? So noted. This does start a 60-day clock. I did reach out to former Mayor Dave Mingus of East Peoria and asked him if he would serve. And so I will be putting his name forward next month. So I think he'll be able to hit the ground running. So looking forward to that. Okay, any unfinished business? Yeah, Mike.
Don't we have to do the 12 through 18?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
And I move that we approve all of those in one motion.
Okay, motion by Harris, second by Roberts. That's item 12 through 18. Thank you, Mike, for putting that out. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, any unfinished business?
Good catch, Harris.
Yeah, Mike, show me.
All right. Ross, thank you very much for your comments, but I can't let this go there. We have elected officials that actually did those plans for us. John being one of them, Mary Bursa being the other one. John, can you expand on who else did the?
Who else?
The judge did as well, the chief judge.
So,
Well,
we just make sure it stays cleaned up and, take care
They're
of
still
it.
beautiful, so my compliments to everybody who had anything to do with it.
They did their work, they put their money into it, we just take care of it there, so. I just wanna make sure that they all have that.
All right, thanks, Mike. Under new business, I just want to read a paragraph from a letter that Sheriff Lauer handed me tonight. On behalf of the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police Traffic Committee, please accept our congratulations on your first place finish in the Sheriff 26 to 50 category and Teen Safety Specialty Award of the 2020 Illinois Traffic Safety Challenge. We commend your commitment to highway safety in your community. Your efforts serve as an example to other agencies as we continue our work to make Illinois roads a safer place to travel. Jeff, how many of these have we won?
The teen safe driving, I think it's 14.
14. That's awesome. So thank you for everything you're doing over there, Jeff. We really appreciate it. So, all right. The bills were sent out. Can I get a motion to approve the calendar? Motion by Enoch, second by Altpeter. Any changes? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. And then the only other announcement is, after 15 months, this will be our last Zoom meeting. So all committee meetings at full board will now be in person. So I appreciate everybody's flexibility. Yeah, Brandon?
I applaud that decision, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. So, no other business. We're in recess and have a great evening. Have a great 4th of July.